Millions, and I mean millions of men, deal with symptoms that get in the way of intimacy. But now, with Roman, you can do something about it. Roman addresses a variety of sexual health needs for men. So when the moment for intimacy comes, you can be ready. Roman ready. Roman offers both prescription medication and non-prescription products that help combat the symptoms of ED. But that's not all. They also provide testosterone testing and treatment. Guys, treating low testosterone can help revive your sex drive. And better yet, with Roman, everything is online. That means no waiting rooms, no trips to the pharmacy, just a straightforward digital experience from the comfort of your home. If medication is appropriate, Roman will send it directly to your door. Everything arrives in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Go to ro.co/Chael. That's going to get you 20% off your entire order today. Or just click on the link below. You guys following this Mike Perry, Jake Paul stuff? So this goes back a week, and this was kind of the road to nowhere. I maintain for you that the best part of an evening when Mike Perry fights is when Mike Perry walks to the ring, and I maintain for you the worst part of an evening on a Mike Perry fight night is when he leaves. And Mike Perry is not the main event. He's not fighting for championships. He'll come out and he'll do like this salsa. I mean, there's just something there. He brought the blonde with him one time. He's got the new girlfriend that went on to be baby mama. I don't know if he married her or not, but then she was the cornerman. Oh, by the way, she was the only cornerman. Do you guys remember that? Not like she was pitching in and assisting. She was it. She's got a water in one hand and a stool in the other. Hey, you guys remember this? I mean, there's just something to Perry. Can we agree at least a little bit? Now, I don't think he went after Jake Paul as some kind of like a sizzle reel. I think he was just shooting with you guys. And again, this goes back a week ago, and he posts the contract. It's got a little of this missing or a little of that missing, but he posted the contract. And some people went as far as to speculate that he had typed that up himself like as a spoof. There's no spoof there. I mean, not for nothing, but there's just no spoof there. He wasn't claiming he had the fight. He was claiming at one point they were talking to him about having the fight, but they've already changed their mind and there is no fight. Like there was no goal. And so they asked Perry about that. Perry said, man, come on, I can't type anything like that up. Of anybody that's going to go and type something out and do plagiarism, I'm the last guy. And by the way, yeah, he's probably right there with the last guys. And Jake Paul hasn't commented on it that I know of. But guys, I'm going back a week. This was the story that was headed nowhere. And I remember when I saw it, I remember Perry posted like 2 or 3 pages of the contract, and I flipped through and I looked at it, and it was rather dull. And I really did not know the point. Now, Perry is red hot right now. This bare knuckle boxing business, just boxing business. He's red hot. He just beat Venom Page. That was not supposed to happen. But if you guys will remember back to the Triller event, Perry fought a guy who was a former WBA or WBO or WBC, a real world champion. Not his former, but he was a world champion. The guy was the 3-1 favorite to beat Perry. Perry had never even done this before, not in front of our eyes, not on that stage. 5 rounds, he wins 3 of them. He beats the guy. I mean, right? Sometimes you find your sport. You remember Good Will Hunting? Sometimes you can just play. Perry appears to have found that. So I don't hate the idea of him versus Paul. Now, that isn't some huge thing, but there's something there. And it's better than any other idea that I've heard. Oh, by the way, if I'm being fair, I have not heard a single other idea. None. I haven't heard Anderson Silva, God bless him, say I want a rematch, which there was massive opportunity for. First off, that was a great fight. It was a fun fight. It was also a controversial fight. I mean, there was all sorts of stuff going on. Joe Rogan must have to weigh in on this. Did that punch land? I'm just sharing with you. Nobody wants to fight him. Perry wants to fight him so much that some people think that he's speculating about making up the fact that he almost had an opportunity to fight. Whatever at that point. Now you've just proven that you really want to do it. But why am I talking to you guys about this? Why in the hell did I just take up 3 minutes and 37 seconds of your life about a fight that is not going to take place? Well, I'll tell you why. I want to ask you something. Would you rather see Mike Perry box Jake Paul. Do you hate that idea? I mean, just from Jump Street, do you have a problem with what I just said? I don't think you do. I think you're going to play a little bit of that game. Oh, Perry's smaller and Paul's bigger. Well, yeah, Paul's been very open about that. You guys got a whole bunch of experience. I got 4 years and damn near as many fights. So you're going to give me something. Okay. But here's the swerve. Do you want to see Jake box Mike Perry? Or would you like to see him fight Mike Perry in MMA? And do you see where that is vastly different? MMA was your answer. MMA was absolutely your answer because the Jake Paul experience and the Jake Paul experiment has not changed. It has not shifted gears. It is about one thing, seeing Jake Paul lose. That's what this has been about from Jump Street. That's what this is about right now. And after you discover what a good boxer it turns out he is, beating and putting down world champions, 1, 2, 3, 4 world champions left their feet. Got to count T. Wood twice. All of a sudden, you're not so sure. You're not so sure that Perry's going to be the savior that can come in and beat him in that, but you do feel pretty good about it in MMA. I'm just sharing with you the psychology, right? I'm not trying to bust you on something or pull the rug out. I'm just sharing with you, when you go, yeah, Chael, as a matter of fact, I would much rather see them do MMA. I want to see them box. I'd much rather see them do MMA. In case you're wondering introspectively why you're having that response, it's because the idea hasn't changed. And you think Mike Perry's got a better shot of beating him in MMA than you do in boxing, and you don't even want to admit that in the boxing, because then that brings you closer to having to admit that Jake Paul is really good. All right. I like it. Book it. Book it. What is it that we're waiting on, right? If we're going to talk about talking and we're going to meet about meeting, there is a time and a place to do this. One thing that I don't know, when is Jake Paul debuting in the PFL? And that one was a little bit confusing. Like, you don't have a reveal the way they had. You have a well-edited announcement. And you would always put a date with it. But not only did we not get a date with it, it got a little bit confusing, at least for my ears. And I might have been a literalist on this more than I should. Maybe I should have just enjoyed the show. It might have been a little bit too literal, but he did say that he was going to box first. In the boxing and the MMA, same opponent, in this case, Nate Diaz, but it would be separated by 6 months. I don't know if that's an arbitrary number, if that's a close number. It's got to be 180 days. I don't know. But I know the boxing did come first, and that's very relevant. I feel as though we've got to get a date right. Everything in life is chicken and egg. Everything in life. Cart and horse, where are you going to start? You don't have to, in the sport, start with a date. I prefer it when you do. Makes my job easier. My job as a fan and uniting other fans and bringing them with a message and or a decision from the community is a lot easier when we can start to work backwards. But if I don't have any pieces, it gets a little bit harder to do. And I only share that because we can talk about Nate. We could talk, I think I heard Floyd in there. We can talk about Francis. We can talk about talking, and we can have meetings about meetings. Or we can start putting some of those pieces together. That's one thing we don't have as a fan. We don't have the pay-per-view debut date of Jake Paul. A lot of reasons why he would keep that quiet. By the way, you smart marks don't think you have to smart. A lot of reasons why he would keep that quiet. Just sharing for you. Of course, we're going to go after Nate. Of course, we're going to exhaust Floyd. Of course, we're going to see what Mike Tyson's doing. I just threw that one in, but I'm attempting to prove a point. But then all of a sudden, we're going to come back and go, you know what? What is Platinum Perry doing? Not a bad idea, is it?